This is Kerrigan and Company. One of my favorite places for holiday shopping is Northeast Arc's store Parcels at the Liberty Tree Mall. They're hosting an incredible holiday market on Saturday, November the 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There'll be more than 30 vendors, all with disabilities or autism, as well as live music. It's a great way to shop local this holiday season and support artists, creators, and entrepreneurs with diverse abilities. Find them on Facebook at Northeast Arc Gifts to learn more. It's Slaine's world, and we're all happy to be a part of it. On this episode of Kerrigan and Company.
Kerrigan and Company is here for you. Yes, Kerrigan and Company is here for you.
Welcome, everybody, to Kerrigan and Company. So good to have you with us today, and I'm very excited about this show because this show is going to have a little bit of everything for you, and it's all coming from one man. He's a local guy. His name is actually George Carroll, and he's been a guest on our show before. I believe he was here last April, and he was kind enough to come back to co-host. But his fans know him as Slaine, and I'm so glad that he's here with me today. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Kim.
Yeah, when you were here back in April, we said, "Hey, this is not enough time. We got to get back together." Not to mention the fact that, good God, you've got so much going on. I don't know that we have enough time in this show to get it all in, but we're going to do our best.
Yeah, well, it's good to be back. I had a great time on the show last time.
Well, you're a sweetheart for that. Where's Slaine come from, by the way?
A friend of mine gave it to me as a nickname when I was in New York in 1996, I think. And at the time, I was going by John Doe, and there were a couple other people called that. So there's a guy named Caves from Lords of Brooklyn. He gave me that name. And when I walked into the studio one day, he had a logo for it and all that. So
it stuck.
It was born.
Yep. I love that. Well, for those who maybe don't know, I'm going to back up just a second because you are a guy who does so much. It's crazy. So Slaine, I think he probably, obviously is known professionally by Slaine, but where that comes from when you make reference to New York is that Slaine is a rapper. With an album that just dropped in the last couple of weeks. We'll talk about that. Slaine is also a recovering addict. Mm-hmm. And as a result of that, he is the co-founder of a recovery center and a mental health facility.
Correct. Yeah. Charles River Recovery, which is an inpatient substance use facility. Mm-hmm. So it's a medical level of care. And we'll talk about that. We brought the executive director in today to talk about it. And also a primary mental health outpatient facility called Grand Rising Behavioral Health.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about both of those. But then the other thing that he has going, this other little side gig that he has going, is he's an actor.
It's my side gig, yeah.
That's your side hustle, right? When you've got time for all the rest. And the acting portion of this we got to talk about right this minute because boy, oh boy, we are in a big time for you, for sure. So before we get into the new movies, two of which are dropping in November, both on the same day. What a day you've got coming up. But let's back up a little bit and just talk about how you became an actor.
Well, I mean, how I became an actor was completely random. Yeah. It started with music for me. That was my passion that I pursued. And the Boston Herald did a story about me for my music. And Ben Affleck was in town at the time casting for his directorial debut, which was Gone Baby Gone. And he saw me in the paper, and I woke up the next day in the middle of the afternoon at the time, because that's how I used to roll. But that was, and I had all these missed phone calls, and it was Ben calling me in for an audition, and I went in to read for a character named Cheese originally, and ended up getting the role of Bubba Rogowski, and that was how my acting career started.
It all started from there.
And I've done 20 movies since then. So.
Golly. All of which, by the way, are big movies. You've had parts in these really big, fabulous movies. And so we fast forward now, and he's about to be a part of a movie that is going to be a huge blockbuster. I really do believe, don't you? I think this is going to be a really big one. And that's
The Running Man.
The Running Man. Yep. Yeah, it's the remake of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. This is a Stephen King novel.
Which I didn't know that, by the way. I was a huge fan of that movie, but he wrote it under a pen name. So that makes sense why I didn't know that when I was growing up. But,
yeah, absolutely. And what's interesting about it, I think, is that they're saying that this version of it is going to be much closer to the book than the original. This version of it has a character that you play. The first did not. So tell everybody about that.
Yeah, without giving too much away, I play a character that kind of works for the game show / the government and kind of looks after the interests of the contestants.
If people don't know anything about this movie, by the way, it's a freaky, it's a dystopian, story. I kind of go to like the Hunger Games or some of those kinds of stories out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of the Hunger Games came after the Running Man. So, I mean, this is kind of ahead of its time when you think about when this book was written, and I want to say that the book took place in 2025. Is that true? I'm not sure.
I don't know that, but wow, that's freaky if that's the case.
Yeah.
Huh? So that comes out November the 14th. You're got to be thrilled. What do you do for that?
I like to go to the movies, so I still go to the movie theater. I think I'm one of the last remaining people that still goes to the theater. I love going to the theater. It breaks my heart that people don't go to the theater the way they used to. I mean, I remember growing up and going to the movie theater was magical. You get the popcorn and the whole world is shut off, and it's like there's something really that I love about that, and I always have, and I still do it. So, I mean, any movie that I'm in, I like to go to the theater and see it.
So you haven't seen the movie?
I have not seen The Running Man yet.
Awesome.
I've not seen it.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for you. I definitely want to see that movie as well. Now, on that exact same day, November the 14th, this is your baby. So let's talk a little bit about this. This is an independent film, King Ivory.
Yes.
Now, this film, in fact, my producer and I, in the beginning, we were a little confused because we knew it was coming out November the 14th, and yet it has a 2024 date on it. But that's because it was actually, it debuted then at the Vienna Film Festival.
At the Venice Film Festival.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Venice Film Festival.
Yeah, so it debuted at the Venice Film Festival last year. So the story of King Ivory, I'll get into it a little bit.
Yeah.
So John Swab, who's the director, I've been working with John since his first movie in 2015, and John and I met John when he was a young director. I saw a short film he did. We became friends. We got sober together. So, I mean, like, we have a really deep connection. I've done 6 films with John.
Wow.
And this one is really special because it's his breakthrough. And it's also about fentanyl in America, which is obviously something that, just being on the front lines of fighting addiction, it's something that really is an important story to me. So
this story actually takes place in Tulsa.
It does.
And you guys did some research there because, and being a Midwesterner, I understand this. Tulsa and Oklahoma, they're really a gateway coming through from the southern border and from a number of other places for drugs like fentanyl.
Yes, and John is from Tulsa originally, so he's very familiar with that territory. Tulsa's kind of become a home away from home for me. My bandmate, Danny Boy from House of Pain and La Coca Nostra, my rap group, he bought the Outsiders house down there, the house where the movie The Outsiders was shot in. Danny also loves movies like I do, and he refurbished it and turned it into a museum. So I've been going down to Tulsa, for 10 years now regularly, and I have a whole friends and community down there and all that, and John and Danny are at the center of it.
That is so great.
So so we shot that movie, and I've shot several other movies down there in Tulsa as well.
Awesome, great. So let's go to the Ivory King. First off, it won, as you said, the
Ambassador of Hope Award at the Venice Film Festival.
You don't play an addict. You're on the other side.
A cop.
You play a cop, exactly. I have only seen the trailers for this movie, and it is intense.
Very.
Tell me, as a guy who is, and your director as well, recovering addicts, what's it like to be in that world? Because you're immersing yourself back into that world. I've thought about that so much, Slaine, because I'm just like, how do you do that? How do you do it?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit different. On this movie, for me, I wasn't like actively using anything. I was a cop, so I'm kind of fighting against it. But I'll answer that question I think as an actor, it's very important to be able to draw on lots of different experiences. right? So you're putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, and you're walking into the belly of the beast and feeling those feelings and all that. And I think it's important to be able to do that as an actor. And the greater purpose of telling these stories is to put things into perspective and to, create great art. So you have to be willing to do that, As far as where my recovery comes into that, I work a daily program where I really do the things I need to do to keep my side of the street clean and do all sorts of things and use all sorts of tools where, I'm not tempted by those things when I work a really good program. So, I mean, it's not just in those circumstances. It's in all circumstances of life. I have a daily reprieve that if I work a great program, I'm able to go where any other free man can go.
Yep.
Without fear that I'm going to use or anything like that. Is that kind of what you're...
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Yeah, because it just feels like to me, if you're somebody who, and I think you're not, thank goodness, but if you would be somebody who was on the edge and you were sort of, not that in a movie is real, but you're sort of pushed back into that world that could, cause some real problems.
Yeah, I think my well-being and my recovery is an internal condition, right? So it's not necessarily affected by external conditions unless I'm not right internally. And I could say the same thing for being on tour. Like when I was newly sober and we would go on tour and, we're in nightclubs and venues where people are drinking and using drugs and... Yep. I have to be firm enough in my recovery and strong enough in the work that I'm doing to not let any external circumstances affect me. And I think that over the course, I've been sober almost 12 years, that can be carried on in all facets of life. Like if I'm right internally, then the external will not affect me to the negative, We're going
to talk a little bit more about the program, too, because I know you no doubt follow the same program that you have at the Recovery Center.
I mean, definitely try to implement some of those tools, but it's a great opportunity to be able to bring these people on
I'm so excited. Yeah, we'll look forward to that. The new album. And it's A New State of Grace.
Yes.
That dropped like last week, right?
Yep.
2 weeks ago, yeah. And...
I mean, I was just
I love the name, by the way.
Thank you.
A New State of Grace. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I think for me, it all started with music. Like I said, Ben saw me in the paper because of the music, particularly in Boston, where I'm an independent artist. So anything that I built with the music all started here and then reverberated out. And, I had the chance to tour to 100 cities and 40 countries and, work with a lot of legendary people, but it all started in Boston, So for me, my music has always been a time capsule of where I'm at in my life. And sometimes it was not the best place. And it reflected in the music, and I think they're all time capsules. And right now I'm in a really good place. I don't record the same way I used to, where I used to be in the studio daily. Now I set aside one day a week where I go in the studio and I just chip away. So I have this album and I have another album probably in the spring because I wanted to wait to release it until I could, pick up a little momentum with the music. And
absolutely.
I just do it because I love it at this point.
Are you in a new state of grace?
Today I am. Tomorrow I might not be, right? I don't know.
You know what? That's a philosophy all of us should have, whether you're recovering or not. Because all of us are sort of like, today's good.
It's day to day.
You just hope tomorrow's. I'm not going to tell you what tomorrow's going to be quite yet, but yeah, I love it. Well, I love the name, and I think that's just. I think it's so cool when artists, write about the reflection of where they are in life. And if you're somebody who follows you very closely, and I have bopped around to hear bits and pieces of all the, I hear a really different person.
Oh yeah,
it is amazing.
You want to hear a funny story? So my son is 17 now, and he's gone through my catalog and listened to my music, and he said to me, he goes, Dad, I think you were better when you were drinking and getting high. And I was like, I don't think so. I think I'm clearer now. I'm more focused.
Yeah.
My music is better. And he was like, yeah, maybe technically. He goes, but you were kind of like a crazy guy. He goes, that's being a lunatic. Like, it carries weight in hip hop. It means something. And I was like, yeah, maybe. And he says, he goes, but it must be cool for a fan that followed you from the beginning to see what you became, and that's
I mean, first off, that sounds like the ultimate compliment, right? I hope you're getting that from me too, because that's what I'm saying to you. And if you, whether you're a rap fan or not, take a minute, go back through the catalog, and just listen to a song, and you're going to see the difference. I distintly hear the difference.
I'm less angry, a little more raspy.
Yeah, absolutely. You are definitely less angry. There's no two ways about it. We do this thing here called the Fast Five.
Okay.
It's 5 questions, rapid fire.
Oh, no.
You got 30 seconds to answer them. Are you ready?
I guess so. I'm not good at stuff like this.
Oh, no, you're going to be great. Here we go. When you were growing up, who was your favorite artist?
LL Cool J.
What's your favorite pizza topping?
Hamburger and mushrooms.
What actor or actress would you love to work with?
Robert De Niro.
Is there one thing you have to do every day?
Brush my teeth.
What's your favorite? Oh, thank goodness. What's your favorite Ben Affleck movie?
The Town. Yeah, come on.
Which you were in.
I was.
Yeah. Do you stay in touch with Ben?
I text. I do stay in touch with him. I texted with him a couple weeks ago. In October, it was the 15th year anniversary.
Awesome.
It was 10 days ago, something like that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, he's quite a talent.
Yeah.
And what a cool thing that he took a chance and said, "Hey, come on down."
Changed my life forever. I love Ben. I don't allow any critiques in my presence about Ben because that's my guy. But I got to say, like, to me, Ben Affleck is one of the great directors. Obviously, very, very. Has had an incredible acting career, but as a director, even more so. To me, he's like top 5 director of the last 20 years. I mean,
that's so cool because that's coming from somebody who's been directed by him.
And I don't think I even knew that in the beginning because the first 2 movies I did with him, I knew that they were great movies after I saw them, but after having worked with a lot of great directors now and been a part of a lot of different stuff, looking back in retrospect, thinking like, wow, what a special experience. I mean, he made me an actor, period. He gave me a shot, but he also taught me so many things, some of which I learned 10 years later when I thought about some of the things he was telling me.
Sure.
So that's special.
It is special. You Boston guys stick together, right?
I guess so. Right?
Well, listen, we're going to, in the next segment, going to have somebody that you invited to come on, and I know this is somebody you're crazy about as well. Not a Boston guy, but that's okay. We're going to like him anyway. Right?
Hey, he was in The Departed.
I know.
He's honorary Boston.
No, there you go. So James Badge Dale is going to join us, and you play his partner.
In King Ivory, yeah.
In King Ivory. So we're going to chat with him in just a moment, everybody. Slaine is with us. George Carroll. Stay with us. This is Kerrigan and Company.
The Cher Show, from sunny to superstardom. Every Cher you've ever loved in one fabulous new musical. The Cher Show is on stage at North Shore Music Theater now through November 2nd. Get tickets at nsmt.org.
This holiday season, you can find gifts worth giving at Parcels from Northeast Arc. This unique gift shop features products from across the United States and around the world, all made by people with disabilities or autism. I'm lucky enough to own several items from the store, including pottery and jewelry. The quality is incredible, and I love being able to support artists and entrepreneurs with diverse abilities. You can shop in-store at the Liberty Tree Mall or online at parcelsgifts.com. Shop online using the code KIM10 to save 10% on your purchase through December the 25th. This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Lucia Lighting and Design, where people in the know go for the best possible lighting and design experience. Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan and Company. So good to have you with us today. Of course, keeping me company today is Slaine. And you were kind enough, my producer was like, we got to have him back every single week because he's booking all the guests. Are you kidding? No pay for my producer this week, by the way, because he had you work an extra time. But I want you to introduce our next guest because this is somebody who's pretty special to you.
Well, I told you how important this movie King Ivory is to me, and the history that I have with John, and just to you do films, and once in a while you do one that's really special. And
Sure, absolutely.
And I had the pleasure of working with this gentleman, James Badgedale, and developing a friendship with him. But we work as partners in the movie. And James, I will introduce you here for a second. But a funny story: I was over at Charles River Recovery yesterday, and I walked in to one of like the group rooms, and they had a show on TV, and it was Hightown. And here you come walking onto the screen, and I come in, and they're like, "Hey, what's up, George? What's going on? Oh, what are you guys watching? Oh, that's my boy." And I seen you come walking in, and it takes place down the Cape, right, James?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, how'd you like my accent?
It was good. Good.
But did you think it was okay? Because sometimes people trying to do the Boston thing is not great. So
you know what? I didn't even think of it. So I guess I'm gonna have to go back and really give it the study, and then I'll let you know.
It's hard, man. I'm from New York, and so I have to give like all the credit where credit's due with Massachusetts. It's like my New York keeps leaking in, and it'll be like, oh, you're Cape Cod, Brooklyn, Cape Cod, Brooklyn.
It's a constant fight. Hey, we're glad you're here. I wanted you to know that before you came on, George did say, he said, James is a bona fide movie star. So he's talking some really nice things about you. So we're really glad you're here. And you know what this movie means to him. So why don't you tell us what it meant to you to be in this really cool indie that's got, I think, I have not seen the movie because it hasn't been available to see, but I've seen all of these trailers, and it just looks like to me this is quite a movie.
It's coming. It's coming out November 14th.
Right.
And it's a powerful film, and it has to do with the drug trade coming out of the Oklahoma prison system. Slaine and myself are playing partners on the drug side of the police department, and it's a weaving film that will tell a couple of different stories. Our story, and then there's Ben Foster and Melissa Leo's story, and then Michael Mando's story, as you get to see it from the point of view of some of the guys who are trafficking. And I think what I love about this film is that it really deals in those gray areas. There's no good guys and bad guys here, and then this was kind of the cool thing about seeing the film for the second time with an American audience, is I start to see the film from Mando's point of view, from Ben Foster's point of view. John Swab has a very empathetic, voyeuristic style of filmmaking, and it's a powerful film. It should gut punch you, and I think we did it.
So do you guys think that's a good thing? It's really interesting that you'd say that you've got a movie that's about this subject matter, and there's no good guy, no bad guy. Is that a good thing to tell audiences?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an accurate portrayal of life. Yeah. I mean, everybody's a good guy in their own story, right?
Right.
But I think as actors, that's the way we always have to look at everything. You can't really judge your character. You can't judge the guy that you're playing. And I think any good story is from that perspective, Yeah.
What made you want to take this role, James?
First off, it was a great role. It was, John Swab sent me the script, and it was. I was like, "Hey, man, are you kidding me?" Yes, that's the only answer here. And more importantly, John was passionate, and this story means a lot to John, coming from where he came from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the life experiences that he's had, and he's drawing on all of that. He's in recovery for a long time, but he's pulling all these guys off the street that he used to know. He's coming from a place of experience, and you want to work with artists who have a story to tell, and a story to tell for the right reason. And that goes in film, and that goes in music also. Like we all want to be a part of something that we can all feel passionate about. And I think that's what I love about independent film, is you're kind of tapping into this other thing that's not corporate. It's coming from the heart.
Yeah, and I think that resonates too. Like when we shot that film, look, I've done a bunch of indie films, and many of them will never be seen or really make any noise. And we just had such a camaraderie, and everybody believed in the story and the project and what we were doing so much. I mean, there were so many nights we would be hanging out and kicking it with each other and all that, and there was just a closeness between everybody that was collaborating on this movie. So then when it got into the Venice Film Festival, I mean, that's like a 1 in a million thing for an independent film, right? And to go over there with the whole gang, and we all saw it for the first time together on the Venice screen and got the standing ovation from the audience there. It was a special thing. You don't get to experience that often.
Right.
You know, like
sure.
It was a really special thing. And then, you know, you mentioned it said it came out in 2024. Well, now it has major distribution, so it's an independent film, but I think it's going to be on 1,200 screens in America, which is a big number at this, you know,
absolutely,
at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, it's so interesting that you guys, both of you have said now you didn't see the film prior to. So this is sort of regular, right? You guys don't see the films before they hit a screen somewhere.
I try not to be quite honest with you. I find that the place that I work best as an actor is to be the less I know about myself, the better. And there's something really beautiful, like what George said, is like when you see the film for the first time with everybody.
Yeah.
Because you go through this experience together, you put all this blood, sweat, and tears into it, and then a year or two later, you go into a theater and you watch it together, and I get to see the work that everyone else did, and I get to, it's cool, and it's a lot better than watching yourself on a computer screen at home alone in your dark bedroom, you know?
And do you get there and go, damn, I was good.
Ooh. Sometimes it doesn't go that way.
It doesn't always go that way. It doesn't always go that way. And I think it's like an acquired taste, too. I mean, I remember the first time I saw myself in Gone Baby Gone, I was sitting in the theater. I watched it with everyone for the first time, and my first thought was, wow, I have an enormous head. You know, like... And I think you lose some of that over the years, and it's more... But, you know, the at its best, what happens is you see a moment that really works. You know, like you see the magic on the screen there, and that's like where you find that we did it. It's the purpose, right? And James, there was so many... I don't think I've told you this, but there were a lot of moments in that film where, you know, I got to work with you on a daily basis, and when I watched the film back, I saw you doing something. There was a whole nother layer to your performance that I didn't even get in the present moment in real time that added so much more depth to it. And I was like, man, he's good. He's good, you know?
Oh, man. Hey, man. Hey, thank you. Thank you. And I wanted to say the same to you because, you know, watching it for the second time with a U.S. audience and seeing what was being responded to, and I don't want to give things away, but there's a certain scene that you have with Jasper that hit in a way different, deeper way for me. You know what I mean? It's a really, you're so good in the movie, and everyone is so good. It's such this like multi-layered performances, and I think that's credit to John, and I think that's credit to John Swab, our director, because we were shooting in this way where we're just going 2 cameras handheld. John has the script. Here's the template. He's okay with improv. You want this thing to kind of come to life. Yeah. And it's like, hey, man, let's run and gun and see what happens. Yeah. Okay, do it again. Okay, do it again. A little different. Do it again. A little different. Boom, 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 boom. I got it. We're moving on. And so it just had this really organic feel to it. And while we're shooting, you start to feel like, hey, we might be catching lightning in a bottle a little bit.
That's great. That's great. So both of you have been in big blockbusters. And then obviously you've done these independents. So talk about the difference. What's the difference when you're on the set and you're in The Running Man versus, you're here at King Ivory? What's the difference between these movies? You
got to get it right quicker with independent film because you're moving to the next scene. The budget is smaller.
You've only got so much money.
Yeah, the budget is smaller. You don't really got time. You sure you got it? Yep, we got it. Next scene. With the bigger movies, you can really kind of dive into it and kind of let the scene evolve over a longer time. But
James, how about you? I mean, there's got to be good and bad for both.
The food is better on studio films.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This is a funny story for you. I don't know if people don't shoot on film much anymore, but I did an independent film about 15 years ago, and we were shooting on short ends, which is when they go and they buy the film canisters that everyone else had used already, and so there's only this much film left in them, so you can get them for real cheap. But the thing is, you only have like 30 seconds of film, maybe 45 seconds of film, and so we were shooting on short ends, and they would come up to us and they'd be like, hey, look, we only have enough film for maybe 2 takes, so just letting you know.
No pressure.
Right.
No pressure, dude. No pressure, man. You got it.
That's good stuff. What's coming up for you? I know you're on a film right now.
I'm working on this Jeremy Saulnier film with A24 right now. I love Jeremy. This is the second movie we've done together, and it's a really fun kind of punk rock fugitive movie coming out next year. We have obviously we have King Ivory coming out in a couple weeks, November 14th. I have another kind of revenge movie coming out on Halloween called Violent Ends.
That looks crazy. I saw, that's the one I texted you about, right?
It's bonkers, man.
That comes out Friday?
It's you'll have fun, man, when you see it.
I'm going to go see that.
That's what's up.
I'm going to go see that.
It works as a good combo to King Ivory. And then we have Devil in Disguise is actually out right now on Peacock, which is a story that's kind of very close to my heart, and Michael Chernus and the rest of the cast. Like it's about John Wayne Gacy, but we tried to tell the story from the victim's perspective.
Yeah, that's an 8-part series, right?
That's an 8-part series.
Yeah, that's a limited series. Yeah, congratulations on that. I actually have seen the first 2 of the 8 parts, and it's really good, really great. So good for you. Listen, we're so glad that you could be a part of the show today. It's really great to meet you. Slaine has nothing but good things to say about you, and you certainly have been in some really great pieces. Anything in particular that you've loved more than any other that you'd like to just tell people that you've done?
Things that I've done?
That you like more than any other?
Listen, everything gets a special place in your heart, whether it's working or it's not. And I've been lucky. I tend to have really good experiences, but what I always say is that the one that means my favorite of them all is the one I'm working on right now.
Of course, yeah.
And that was kind of King Ivory when we were down there, and no joke, it's summer in Oklahoma. It is 110 degrees. I got we are gacked out, flak jackets. We are popping off full rounds. It's pandemonium, and we're running around with these cameras. Best time ever.
Yeah.
Best movie ever, because everyone's committed and everyone's there, and no one's getting paid, and we're doing it for the love of the game and because we have something to say.
Yeah.
And doesn't get better than that.
Awesome. James Badge Dale, good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Badge. I'll see you soon, man.
New album's dope, dude. World Don't Stop.
Thank you, bro. That's your favorite song on it?
That's my favorite song, man. And I like All Good, too, man. But I've been listening to it.
I appreciate that.
A new state of grace.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Peace, brother.
All right.
This is Kerrigan and Company. The holidays are coming. Is your house ready? If you're like me, you probably want to make some changes before your friends and family arrive to celebrate the season. You might need entirely new lighting, or maybe you just want some new pieces of furniture or some accessories. No matter what you're looking for, my friends at Lucia Lighting and Design in Lynn can help. Start by going to lucialighting.com to take a tour of their beautiful showroom, then make an appointment to see their incredible inventory of in-stock items. That's lucialighting.com. Tell them Kim sent you.
This fall, Rumson's Rum is giving you something to cheer about. It's their Harvest Cheer cocktail, and you only need 3 ingredients. In a shaker filled with ice, add 1.5 ounces of Rumson's Gold Rum, 3 ounces of apple cider, and 1 ounce of cranberry juice. Gently combine and strain into a glass filled with ice. Top it off with a cinnamon stick garnish. Ask for Rumson's Rum at your local liquor store today. Rumson's, life lived, life enjoyed.
The Share Show, from sunny to superstardom. Every Share you've ever loved in one fabulous new musical. The Share Show is on stage at North Shore Music Theater now through November 2nd. Get tickets at nsmt.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to Kerrigan and Company. So glad you could be with us. Of course, keeping me company today is Slaine. I keep calling, I've called you George. I call you Slaine.
You can call me
I'm kind
both.
of bouncing around here, so I hope that's okay. And we are really, really looking forward to this next conversation. This is Jessica Conte. She is the executive director of the Charles River Recovery Center, which is where you are a co-founder of
Correct.
that. And before we get started, just good to see you, and I'm so glad you're here. Tell everybody where it's located and, a little bit of background there.
So it's located in Weston, Mass, on the Waltham line. I always say that because when I say Weston, Mass, with my accent, people think like Springfield or
Weston.
something. Yeah, Weston. Because I say Weston, Mass the same way, right? So it's about
in Weston.
Yeah, it's about 18 minutes from here, from downtown Boston.
Okay.
It's very quick.
Super. And how long has the center been there, guys?
3.5 years it's been
Great,
open.
fantastic. Jess, tell me about day in, day out operations there.
Day in, day out operations.
Yeah, so it gives us a sense of what happens there at the center.
Can I interject with something
course you
before
can.
we talk to Jess about it? So just to let everybody know, I get to go out and talk about all these cool things that we do with Charles River or Grand Rising, but very rarely do the people who are actually boots on the ground doing the work day in and day out.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to take the opportunity to bring Jess on the show because I will say this. We've been open for about 3.5 years. Jess has been with us for almost 2 of those years. Jess is directly responsible for turning Charles River into the place that I envisioned and idealized that it would be. So she came in at a time where our program was growing, and with that comes turmoil and difficulties and all
course.
that. And, I'm good at a lot of things, but there are some things that I'm not very good at, and enter Jess into the picture. So what was it like coming into that situation and having to kind of right the ship and make the program as great as it is today?
Well, thank you for your kind words. Charles River, one of the things that George said to me when we were talking about me coming on was the mission of Charles River was to serve our own. We take care of our own, is what he kept saying to me. So I've been working in the treatment field for over a decade now, and this was the first opportunity that I was going to be able to really make changes to how service delivery was done,
Right.
Which was exciting. Charles River at the time had amazing staff who wanted to make a difference and who really cared about patients. The way the systems were set up probably wouldn't have been how I did it. So there was a little bit of a lift in the beginning just to kind of restructure the operations of the company. My background is in case management and resource advocacy, and bringing in the people that I really trusted to develop curriculum that we could be proud of, to enhance clinical services, and to develop a real continuum of care. Took a lot of work, but I feel like we have been able to make that happen, and it's something that we can be proud of today. And I would send someone that I loved to Charles River.
There you go, and
Yeah.
that's what you want to hear.
That's the goal.
Right?
I mean,
it,
that's
exactly.
that's what. And oftentimes we get like a lot of people, some people who work in the field for various facilities, and they send their loved ones to us, and I take that as the ultimate
absolutely.
compliment.
You bet.
Yes.
So let's go back to the original question, which is day in and day out activities there. Explain to everyone. It is it's in-house treatment.
Yep, inpatient
Inpatient
care.
care.
So we take, we start at the highest levels of care and go to the lowest levels
Okay.
of care. So we have ATS, which is acute treatment services, detox. You know, you're really struggling, you're medically acute. Yeah, you need medication to come off of whatever the substance of your choice is. We handle that first. You know, medical stabilization has to come first. And then we move on to clinical stabilization. So we have a CSS unit. There are certain substances that you can use that don't necessarily need any type of taper medication. So we can take you, but, you know, all of your behaviors and all the things going on in your life, you need more support. So day to day, we have rounds. We talk about our patients on each of the levels of care. On detox, they're reviewing the medications. In CSS, it's more about the clinical interventions needed, the resources we need to connect them to, aftercare supports, an outpatient, PHP, IOP, day treatment. That is more like we need to help the patients develop the strongest foundation. So we medically stabilize them, we clinically stabilize them, and then we want to stick with them as they're re-entering into their day-to-day lives.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm going to just ask you some strange questions, but I think they're questions that people who aren't exposed to this all the time would want to know. The first is, what does it take to get in? How bad do I have to be, or what makes you decide that this is someone that, because I know you have limited beds.
Yep. So it's more about criteria. So the ASAM levels of care, essentially, you know, where are you during that assessment that we would look at you and say, okay, this seems like appropriate for you. You need detox. Like, you're going through alcohol withdrawal, you might have seizures, you're using fentanyl or opioids, there's a risk of overdose. Like, those types of things will determine where you're placed throughout our continuum. But it's never like, no, you're not bad. It's like, oh, maybe you just need IOP because you're like a weekend warrior or something like that. We'll find and connect you. Even if we don't take your insurance or there's some other obstacle, you know, the treatment advocacy team and, you know, the admissions team, they work really closely with partners in the community to make sure that everybody gets connected to something.
Yeah, you don't turn anybody away.
No, and this is an emergent level of care. Like, sometimes people that follow me and they want to know what Charles River is, they think it's a sober house. It's almost like a mini hospital. You know, to come into detox, typically what we see are people who, when they stop using alcohol or when they stop using opiates or benzodiazepines, they're going to have an extreme withdrawal that puts them in an emergency situation, right? This is life or death level of care. And that's what appealed to me about opening this up in the first place. This is the day that can change someone's life. This is, you know, somebody is going to die if they don't stop using. That's what detox is. That's what, you know, this is a medical process. You know, we have doctors and nurses, case management, therapists, and all that. So when Jess talks about ATS, it's an acute level of care. This person needs help right now or they could die.
Right.
And clinical stabilization is as they clear up from some of the medical symptoms, you know, you have to peel back some of the layers and you know,
figure out what got them there.
Yeah, because oftentimes people leave detox after 3 or 4 days, or you know, an AMA we call it, right?
Yeah.
Against medical advice, and they're gonna use right when they leave if you know you need to stabilize.
Yep. I know what to do now. I'm not sick anymore. And they haven't looked at, like you said, what brought them to this point or developed any coping skills on how are they going to work through the things that led them to the drink or the drug now that they're back dealing with all the stressors of life.
Sure.
And if they don't develop those skills, typically we end up getting a call back from them.
I'm going to assume that you see people of all ages, of all socioeconomic background. I mean, I think it's a real mistake for people to think that, you know, it's just somebody who comes, you know, up out of a gutter. I hate to be that way, but that's not necessarily who you're seeing all the time, right? I mean, maybe they're functioning, but not functioning well.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. There are many times where there is a stigma attached to drug and alcohol use, and that's one of my passions is when we say we treat our own, it's really hard to come into treatment. It's really hard to be vulnerable and admit that there is something that's unmanageable going on in your life. And when people have the wrong idea about addiction and alcoholism, the way that you can be treated as a result to that can almost dissuade you from getting help. And so it's really important to us to treat with empathy and to understand alcoholism and addiction so that because like impulsivity presents difficult sometimes. The behavioral health care is a very difficult population to manage, but you see some people that are homeless and living on the street, and then you see executive level people that are running businesses that come into treatment.
I want to make it really clear that I don't see the life being lesser if it was someone who was homeless, and this is how this ended up. I certainly don't. I'm not trying to imply that. What I'm trying to say is that I think you see people from all different levels.
It doesn't discriminate. This disease does not discriminate.
Exactly.
You see it in every facet of life and society, and a lot of times, most alcoholics do this, and I used to do it. Where you go, I'm not that bad. This guy's living under a bridge. I'm not living under a bridge.
One of the most beautiful things that you'll see in milieu therapy, because that's what detox and residential, you get one-on-one therapy and there are a ton of groups, but within those groups, you see milieu therapy start to occur. And
what is that?
That means that it's a therapeutic community, essentially. Like, you're not only learning about yourself in your one-on-one sessions with your therapist, you're learning throughout the milieu from the other people, essentially. So when you see somebody come in that maybe hasn't hit some of the lows that another patient, it's very much a comparison. Well, I didn't do this and I didn't do that and I'm not that bad. And then throughout their stay, if they stay for the 30 days, you can see two people from polar opposites as far as what their day-to-day life look like. I've heard alumni say, I would never spend time with this person or be friends with this person or think that I would be so close, but there's this common bond between them. So that's one of my favorite things to say, when you break down all those things that you think make you unique and make you different from everybody else, and how they come together and they help each other.
In the end, we're all just humans trying to do the best that we can do and make things right, in our lives. I can understand that. Let me ask you, you've said that you've been in this line of work, you've been in this community for a long time. Is it worse now? Does it ebb and flow? Is it consistent? How do you see it?
I don't know if I think some of the drugs are more potent now. I don't know that you can say, is it worse now? I know, I'm a person in long-term recovery myself. You saw a lot of prescription pills causing problems in people's lives decades ago, and now you see fentanyl. I think the potency of some of the drugs are scarier now than maybe in times past. But the thing that I have learned is that you really just need to stay very educated and on the firing lines, essentially, because things change all the time. Honestly, you could go through a period where you're seeing a lot of people with fentanyl and you're nervous about the risk of overdose, and then you get a wave of people that are struggling with stimulant use disorder, which is like methamphetamines, and how do you transition as a facility to address all of those needs. And
it changes shapes. The enemy changes shapes. And it's, it's kind of ironic. We were just talking to James Badgedale, and the characters that James and I play in King Ivory are on the front lines fighting this fentanyl epidemic. And it's relentless. So we have to be relentless. Right. And I could say the same thing with Jess and I and the team in Charles River. The disease is relentless, so we have to be relentless. So, I wanted to bring Jess on the show, first of all, to thank you for making Charles River into what I dreamed it would be, and for leading that team over there with so much dignity and being able to provide that kind of care in the community. I wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Publicly.
Yeah.
And, I think that when it means what it means, Jess said she's in long-term recovery. I'm in long-term recovery, right? Sometimes the work can wear you down and get you tired. Mm-hmm. And in those moments, we look at why. Yeah. Why do we do this work? What's the purpose? Mm-hmm. And that is enough to give you the energy to get up and do it again another day because somebody needs you.
Oh. Well, you guys are to be commended. The worst part about the fight that you guys are in is that fight won't come to an end. It may come to an end for an individual, and that's fantastic, and I'm sure that's triumph for both of you. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, somebody's going to follow them right in for that same bet again, and that's where the two of you, like you say, that gets tiring. But boy, it's amazing what you're doing. Jess, great to have you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
We're going to talk at the end of the show how people can get in touch with the Recovery Center. But we're glad that you could be here. And I know that a big part of the Recovery Center is mental health issues. There's got to be a big part of it. And so you saw fit to open someplace
Grand
where folks
Rising
could
Behavioral
go.
Health,
You bet.
Yep.
Could go and could talk to experts there and get some help. And we're going to talk to somebody from Grand Rising coming up in our next segment. This is Kerrigan and Company.
The Cher Show, from sunny to superstardom. Every Cher you've ever loved in one fabulous new musical. The Cher Show is on stage at North Shore Music Theater now through November 2nd. Get tickets at nsmt.org.
As we get older, collagen production in our bodies decreases, causing us to lose elasticity in our skin, which causes sagging and wrinkles. Our friends at Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa in Beverly know that those problems are associated with looking and feeling older. Now they're offering an advanced treatment combo that can change everything. Microneedling with radio frequency energy will tighten your skin, smooth the texture, and boost collagen, all with minimal downtime. Imagine the holidays with your skin tighter, smoother, and more radiant. Set up an appointment to hear more about the combo treatment today. Go to siennaaesthetics.com. That's siennaaesthetics.com. This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa. Take years off your face with the very latest technologies at Sienna Aesthetics in Beverly. Welcome back, everybody. This is Kerrigan and Company, and George Carroll, better known to his fans as Slaine, is with me, keeping me company today. We just talked about the Charles River Recovery Center, which he is the co-founder of. And the last time you were here, back in April, I knew that there was a second facility, but you weren't talking much about it. I think it was really new, and you weren't prepared really to talk a lot yet.
Yeah, Grand Rising Behavioral Health.
Yeah.
So that is a primary mental health outpatient facility, and it focuses more on mental health, obviously, and kind of underlying causes. And
so obviously this was important to you because you know that in your own journey, after getting clean and sober, the mental health portion of this was a really big fight every day.
Yeah, well, we talked when I came on last time, I won't reiterate, but how I kind of went into the space of opening up Charles River Recovery. With this, it was a little different because people would reach out to me and, they struggled with other things, maybe not substance use disorder. I wish I had something like that for what I'm dealing with. And that was kind of the inspiration. There was also, I would see people get sober and do well in sobriety for a little while, and then kind of the underlying stuff would pull them back.
Yeah, they seem to go hand in glove to me.
100%.
It feels like they really do. Katie Haynes is here. She's the program director there at Grand Rising, and it's great to see you. Thank you for being a part of the show.
Of course.
We've sort of talked, obviously, about it. Give me your viewpoint when we talk about Grand Risings.
It is such a wonderful mental health facility where we really focus on individualized care for clients seeking mental health support and try to take the stigma away from that too. So you walk in and you feel the warmth of the staff, you feel the warmth of the environment. And so it becomes this welcoming place where you can start to unpack all the underlying stuff that.
Someplace you can be comfortable, right? Yeah. And, you just used the word that I was going to ask you about next, and that's the stigma. I mean, even in this day and age when we're all talking about mental health issues, and I think some really big, admired, big celebrity types have come out and said, hey, I deal with things, don't feel bad, you should deal with it too. And yet people still probably try to slide through the door in the darkness of night.
I think it's worse with mental health than it is with substance use, because at least with substance use, somebody will just say, oh, he's an alcoholic, or he's got a drinking problem, or I think he's on drugs. Or, that's almost more acceptable. I think it's popular to talk about mental health until it turns on you.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm not crazy. I don't
Sure, right.
It's like, no, man, we all deal with mental health issues. That's kind of the message with stigma around mental health. It doesn't make you crazy to have an anxiety disorder or to be depressed. We're inundated every day with all these we were talking about external factors and how it comes internally. If I'm right internally, I can deal with the external, right? But we're just bombarded with all this stuff from media to,
And is that the way you guys approach it? Do you talk about the external, or is this first and foremost about getting the internal right?
It's both, it's whatever the client comes to us with and what's more pressing at the time. Is it the external, or is it what they, want to deal with about the internal first? It's really meeting clients where they're at and where they're comfortable. So when they finally come in, they sit there and they're coming and talking with the clinicians, what's happening right now in that moment that helps them step through that door and get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Group therapy as well? It seems like to me group therapy is kind of where it's at.
It works.
Once you get there, Is that
works.
true? Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. I loved in the last conversation, we talked about how group therapy and this person's over here and, oh, I never did that. Oh, I would never. And then suddenly they find that commonality. Same thing for mental health?
Absolutely. You really get to build a community with the people that are in that group with you. And you'll see some clients that are a little bit farther on their journey, and then newcomers come along and they get to empower each other and continue sharing and progressing together.
It's funny because it's one of the big barriers to get through. Where somebody says, yes, I have all this going on in my life. Yes, I need help. But I don't want to do group therapy. I don't know who's in there. Who are the other people in the group?
Absolutely.
Right? And most people I just want a therapist. And to me, it's like a therapist is great. But to me, a therapist is long-term. I think everybody should talk to a therapist.
Sure.
That's a maintenance. But when life has really hit you and you're dealing with a big situation, you might need a little more than once a month on Zoom with a therapist, right? And that's kind of what the design of this is.
Sure.
It's to really navigate through a difficult situation.
Now, at any given time, how many patients might you be seeing there?
In a group session, typically anywhere between 8 and 15, depending on the day, depending on the time,
Right. But at any given time, you may be seeing obviously many more patients who come through the door.
Many more through the door.
Yeah. Is there an influx as the year has gone on and the doors have been open? Are you seeing more and more? And I guess what I'm asking you is maybe you're seeing more and more because people now know it exists. But do you think more and more people are seeking out this kind of, is there really a huge problem?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the hard part about mental health is that people have been tolerating it for so long too. So when they finally get there, they're like, oh, I didn't even realize that I could feel differently than I do.
Right.
So then they actually see the severity of what they were struggling with.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed too in the different, obviously, kind of running both facilities. There's definitely, obviously, more of a sense of urgency with substance use. It's like,
absolutely.
All right, this is...
we can see that.
Yeah, I'm going to die if I don't stop tomorrow. With mental health, I see people typically, they're used to being depressed.
Yeah.
They're used to being anxious, and they're not putting the sense of urgency that they probably should on it. Because, I always tell people, handle your business before your business handles you.
Right.
Because if you leave these things untreated, they manifest in other ways that could become very problematic, without you even knowing.
Sure. Well, I think, you really hit the nail on the head when you say people don't even know that they can feel better. Yeah. Someone probably saying, I didn't even know I was depressed. Well, I really am, or so stressed, like you said. So that's unbelievable. What do you think is... What do you think is the impetus right now behind so much of this? I mean, it seems to me that after COVID, we really started to talk about it more, and more people started to come out. And I don't know if that was anxiety, if that was feeling alone. I don't know. I'm putting words in your mouth, and I'm asking you. Maybe I'm in a therapy session you guys don't even know. But I mean, what do you think? Did COVID have something to do with it?
I mean, absolutely. It's a compounding factor, right?
Yeah.
So you're going through a mass trauma with everyone where their life has changed completely.
Right.
So the way that they used to function is no longer how they function. And then we're trying to find new coping skills, and we can't really use the coping skills that we used to have in the past, whether that's socialization, whether that's connecting with people, whether that's, even just going outside, that changed for everyone.
Sure.
So I would say that definitely had something to do with it, but it also shined a light on all of the other stuff that people were dealing with too.
I mean, it seems to me too like isolation is a real driving force behind mental health issues, which kind of leads back to why group therapy really helps, because we need connection. We don't even necessarily know how much we need the connection.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what I've heard you tell me, which makes sense to me, is that all of these underlying issues have existed for a long time. It's that maybe we're starting to get to a place where we can talk about it.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, that goes back to just removing the stigma and encouraging folks to come out and share with somebody about what they're dealing with. And then you can start to pick out, all right, maybe this is anxiety, maybe this is depression, maybe it's PTSD, maybe it's, any of these things. And we can start to feel better. We can start to change what that looks like in our life.
I have a question for you, Kate. How, we talk about overcoming barriers with people and kind of terminal uniqueness, where we were talking in the segment prior about, well, I'm not that bad. That guy lives under a bridge. With mental health, I think it can be even more nuanced, where it's, well, I'm depressed. What do I have in common with the guy who's anxious? Or what do I have in common with the person who's, got a co-occurring issue with substance use? And what do I have in common with the person who has an eating disorder? I have an anger management issue. How do you connect in a group when people have several different kind of symptoms to their mental health issue?
I think it's all about the human experience. Whatever led them to that diagnosis or that struggle, it could be the same thing as the person next to you, whether that's family troubles, whether that's, an adverse childhood experience, whether that's trauma. You can relate to those things and
manifest in a different way.
Absolutely. Manifest in a different way. And the symptoms that you're feeling might also overlap. So it's, how do you deal with this? How do, what's your advice for this? And sharing that and building that bond to support it.
Absolutely. Do the two centers work together a lot? Do you have patients who come from one to go to the other?
Sometimes they do. I mean, Kate actually used to work at Charles River Recovery. She was the clinical director on detox at Charles River, and she left for another opportunity, and then I kind of begged her to come over to Grand Rising after that. One of the coolest things I get to do is, between the two facilities, there are about 180 employees, and in the beginning, I did this to advocate for people in the community to have resources to get well. And over time, I realized I really get to advocate for people to build amazing careers. And my favorite thing to do is find really talented people who can do things that I can't necessarily do and put them in positions to do that. And Kate's like a rising star. That's why I wanted to bring you on the show, Kate, because you just do so much great work, and we're lucky to have you over there running the show.
Do you love the work?
I love it. Yeah. I wouldn't do anything else.
It's great. It's great. Well, thank you for what you do. It's it's fantastic. It's really great. And thank you. Wow. I can't keep up with all the things that are going on. So let me start with this. If anybody has heard something here that sparks a need, how do they get hold of the two facilities, whichever one they might need? How do we go about this?
I don't even know the phone numbers off the top, but you can go to grandrisingbehavioralhealth.com.
Yes.
And that website, you can look at all the services.
Okay.
You can call. It has the number on the site.
So websites really are the answer for both.
Yeah,
right?
You can go and you can look and call. There's always somebody to answer the phone. And then for Charles River Recovery, it's the same thing, charlesriverrecovery.com.
Okay, super. Yeah, because we just want to let people know, obviously, if they've heard something that sparks an interest in them and they've got some questions, that's certainly a way to do it. 2 movies.
2 movies.
The good news is we do know this. November 14th, both of them.
It's a
you
big
worked
day.
that out well. That was it. Get them both on one day.
You know, when I was a kid, I used to go to the theater. I used to skip school in high school to go to the movie theater. And I would see 2 movies in a day. I would sneak into the second one. So maybe I'll do that for this. Maybe I'll buy a ticket for one of the movies and then sneak into the other
Go over
one.
and sneak into the other.
Yeah.
And the music exists now.
The music is out now. New State of Grace. You can check it out on any streaming platform.
Yep.
And that's how people listen to music nowadays. So.
Yeah. It's all good stuff. Congratulations to you.
Thank you for having me back on the show.
Oh, absolutely. You got to keep us informed, okay, about all that it continues to come down the pike for you. It's good stuff. Any other facilities going to open?
Oh, I don't know. I think I'm so busy with everything right now. Like, I was keeping you informed. I'm trying to keep my significant other informed of everything I'm doing. She doesn't even, where are you going?
Now where are you going?
She's actually at Grand Rising when we left. And I was like, all right, me and Kate are going. And she said, where are you going? We're going to see my friend Kim.
George, thanks so much. This has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
We'll do it again.
Absolutely. We absolutely will. Hey, thanks to all of you for being here. And just a quick reminder, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure that you subscribe and be sure you follow us on social. And we do have a new website. It is KerriganandCompanyPod.com. Be sure you check it out. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Kerrigan and Company. To find out who will keep me company and be my co-host on the next episode, be sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Kerrigan and Company is recorded at the Big Night Studios at the TD Garden in Boston. You can view the podcast on YouTube and listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure you tell a friend. The executive producer of Kerrigan and Company is David Thompson, and our social media managers are Grace Kerrigan, Colby Thompson, and Riley Thompson. See you next time.